Now we gotta lay out a bath fan here. I know we want center of the room and favoring the shower. Obviously that's what we're exhausting. And yeah, this is like a normal stud bay, so we'll be in this stud bay here. I'm just gonna take our pencil, pick a number, we'll just go 36 that way. 36, you know, 35 is our center because we marked 36 on both sides, 2 inches apart. Obviously, middle of that is 1 inch. Center mark. With these exhaust fans, they have brackets that you can screw up, or they've got like a flange. So I usually try and get that flange on a stud. And that's enough to hold up the exhaust fan level and everything. This is what I was talking about. These would normally go between the trusses this way and they can expand and contract. But because we can cut to the edge of that truss, we can just take this flange right here usually. And you can set the flange up so you can screw this up into the truss and it'll hold this whole thing up. And this is your wiring part with your duct backflow vent. Plug into here. These generally just hook on this. Come out like that. Plug it all in. The screw retains it in there, but we'll take this back off, get the measurements right, get it square, and try and go up next to that truss. So it was about over here, about like that. So we'll kind of start our cut right there. Just, I know this is center.
And it's going to face this way so we can vent towards the peak of the house. That'll be 10.5. There we go. From here, about 5.25 each way. And I usually do a matrix squares. You just pick your wall. Over here you go. It's going to be 29 and 9/16. So we go this way. 29 and 9/16. 29 and 9/16. And I'll mark out all the sides. We'll do this side. It's going to be 29 3/4. Over here, it's probably about the same. So here's my 10.5. 10.5. Marks going. And go this way. See, 61 3/8-ish. 61 3/8.
This is where I'm talking about. I just take my level, because you know you measured your marks. You marked a square. Square it up on here.
These. Just verify.
We're a little shy on this. Good on this one. I don't mind being a little shy this way. That way we can make sure we're flat against the truss right there, so it's not the biggest deal ever. And then saw away. And you can see we're about 3/8 shy. So what we'll do is we'll cut this back, cut it along the edge, and then we can just add 3/8 to this edge. measurement come from here. Just do the same thing with our actual measurement this time, now that we know where the truss is.
DC just texted me if I don't mind cleaning up because he probably won't make it before the homeowner returns for a trip. Which is like the only DC I really clean up after myself. He doesn't prefer, but he usually has a vacuum and provides a vacuum and leaves me on site and then he does the cleanup because the next trade will be scheduled for the next day.
And then on a roughen, that was a single gang. On a roughen, I made it a 2-gang, ran a second wire up. So up here in the attic somewhere should be a switch leg. Ta-da! Fan. Come over here, grab our little motor. When you're wiring stuff like this, I mean, in general, you always do a tug test, but I especially do when it's like a stranded to solid connection, because you can get them wrapped up pretty funny sometimes, where the stranded will take the lead and then it'll just spin off the end. Hold both. Pull, pull. Just close this little cavity up. And the next guy, and the next guy. I would always make sure you try and get any dust out of this fan so it doesn't rattle. I've seen new ones that rattle because you get a little bit of insulation in there. You get, like, on the older homes that have different insulation. Sometimes there's like little pebbles and stuff in it, or you get like a piece of drywall in it and it'll just rattle for the entirety of the fan's service life, basically. You just take that, push that in, over here, it should support itself. Just like that. You gotta plug in your fan. It's obviously a pretty crucial thing to do. Plug it in. I usually just do a couple little drywall screws because it's not really holding the weight. It's just kind of holding it flat to the drywall. Give it a little test. They only take a minute to turn on. And we're just going to sweep up all this insulation, put it in this box. We'll dispose of that for it. Ta-da. And then I'll ask him, I didn't swap this outlet when I originally came. These are already GFCI protected, but I didn't want them to mess up the new outlet when they repair that. So I'll ask him if he actually wants me to do that or not. And I'll sweep up all this insulation and put it in the box. See you when it's done. Alright, this is the aftermath. Swept it all up, put it in a trash bag, cleaned up our ladder. Broke down our boxes. There's our can boxes for the GC, and we're looking pretty good on this job. On to the next one.